Hey there, it's Tom. I just put a video about subscriber had a question as to why I'm not out there. Newer subscriber. Why I'm not out in the woods and running around and stuff. And it led me to this video that it just dawned on me. So we'll be back and we'll talk about this. Okay, now we're back. Let me get stabilized here. Like I said, a subscriber of mine, a newer subscriber on my last video, asked about why I'm not out in the woods like everybody else is and this, that, and the other thing. There's an easy answer to that, and I gave it to you on the video. Which led me to this video. Is survival a forethought or an afterthought? Now, as far as I'm concerned, bushcrafting, survival, prepping, it all goes together. It's all one big happy family that everybody has a hang up about putting it in a category. I don't. Bushcraft is training for survival. We put up shelters, we train to make emergency shelters, water filtration, we carry knives with us, this, that, and the other thing. That's training for survival. Prepping, we prep our gear, we keep a stock of stuff, and that's prepping too for our hobby. So to me, it all goes hand in hand. Now, as far as, is it a forethought or an afterthought? If it's a afterthought, then we would just walk out of our house and go in the woods. We get stuck out there, we get hurt, we get whatever, which is, for me, is probably a great danger. We didn't put any forethought into it. It was an afterthought. We just got up, we said, hey, I'm grabbing my rifle, I'm going hunting. Which I've done a lot of. Before I got into this whole carrying a haversack and survival kits and everything, I've done a lot of just getting up off the chair. Where are you going? I'm going hunting for a while. Grab the 22 out of the corner of my closet and go. I always have a knife on me, so I don't have to worry about that. Now, there's been a couple of occasions that I've been out there. Just one story, for instance. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, late November, turkey season's in. I said to my late wife, I'm going hunting for a while. I grabbed a shotgun and about 10 shells that I kept on a belt and gone, right? Of course, I had a knife with me and the shotgun. So I'm out there hunting, and I'm in the pine trees way in the back here. And if you're ever in the pine trees at dark, it gets dark faster in pines. So I look out, and it's, light enough to where, hey, I got about an hour. It's like, by the time I got back there, about 3:20, 3:30. I've got time yet, right? I've got at least an hour. Okay. So, right about 4:15, this flock of turkeys come through. To bloom, I shoot one. Not using the rifle like I normally do. I had the shotgun with me. Well, in my overzealous mode of, hey, I just shot a turkey, this, that, and the other thing, I wasn't watching time. Now, I'm a mile from my house in a swamp in a hemlock forest. Y'all know about my bear problem here. All right. So, I look out of the pine trees out into the hickory grove that's there, and you can't see very far. I was like, oh, crap. Because I know it's dark in there, so I wasn't worried about it being dark because it already was. But now, my light source to get home is fading fast, right? So I grabbed the turkey, I throw it in my pack, I didn't even clean it. I grabbed the turkey, threw it in my hunting bag, my hunting vest, and I start hauling. didn't do me any good about 3-4 minutes into the walk, which was going to be a 25-minute walk. I'm in total blackness. And that particular day, I had no forethought as to what time it was and what could happen and everything else. I just went. Had I had my kit with me, I would have had a flashlight, a shelter system, minimal, but a shelter system. Stuff like that. I could have just said, well, it's too dark for me to go walking home on uneven ground and through pine forests. There's a squirrel running around over. I've only seen one this year. Through pine forests, and the road is decent, but when it gets to a certain area, it's full of ruts from the stupid ATVers. Not that riding an ATV is stupid, but disrespecting somebody's property is. So anyway, these are the obstacles I had in front of me. So now, the one part of the forest coming out, there's a huge pine tree down. All the limbs are, it's been there for years. But you can literally sit on the bottom and it's over your head. So I thought about it, I was like, well, let's see, because it's that time of month, and I really don't pay attention half the time. It's that time of month. Stayed there about an hour, and the moon started coming up. Now, once my eyes got adjusted to the dark, which is the reason why I sat down, the moon started coming up, gave me just enough light with my night vision to get home. And it took me, instead of 25 minutes, it took me an hour and a half. Because literally I'm stumbling around down trails that are different in the dark than they are in the daytime. And I had to go a lot slower because for some reason our bear population is really active here at night. So I had to go slower. Luckily I didn't bump in anything except for one big coon that scared the bejiggers out of me. Because he come running out of the thicket in the swamp across the road. It was funny. But that was a afterthought. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. Now, had it been a forethought, I would have grabbed my shotgun, the shells, my haversack, and left. Had I had the forethought, I would have put everything back on my hunting belt rather than leaving it in my hunting vest. Had it been a forethought, I would have put the minimal kit and stuff in the pockets of my hunting vest like I do now. So that's the difference between having forethought and afterthought in the hobby that we have here. It's like this. I showed my little knife kit in my last video. If we take a quick look at this, and all my knives are pretty much decked out the same way. That's the funny part. I carry this around my neck. Let's just start with the knife. It's a case trapper. Where's it at? There it is. It's a case trapper. I'm trying to catch the sunlight. Now this trapper knife has two blades, obviously, and they're really good 90-degree spines on them. Inside this sheath, or case, whatever you want to call it, I have a ferro rod. On the back where the belt loop goes, I put some jute twine for tinder so I can get a fire started. I also have the neck cordage here that I can use to build shelters with. Now, I'm not saying this is the best kit in the world, but it will get you out of some trouble. Now, had I had the forethought to make a kit like this at the time, which I didn't have one, I would have been cozy until I seen that moon come up. Give it another hour till the moon was full. Thank you. Give it another hour till the moon is full, and I would have made it home no problem. But see, I didn't have any forethought to take at least a minimal stuff with me. It was just a hunting trip, which I have a series of videos called the Grab and Go, and that's the reason why they're there. Because it's a grab and go kit, which stays next to my weapons anymore. So if I want to just grab my 22, like that squirrel I just mentioned, if I always want to go in and grab my 22 and go on a quick hunt, even if it's 200 yards into the woods, I grab that small haversack kit because everything's there that I need in case I get hurt. This time of year for me, getting hurt is a great possibility because if you slip on the ice, you can hurt an arm, you can hurt an ankle. Me, I bent over to pick a piece of paper up Christmas Eve and threw my back out for the last 3 days. It was a fun Christmas. So, forethought or afterthought? Afterthought's going to get you in trouble. An afterthought is when you get out there and it's like, oh, I should have. Even so much as a bottle of water. There's snow on the ground now, so you don't have to worry about drinks, but even so much as a bottle of water can be a big help. Let's face it, a bottle of water is not only water, but it's also cordage. And forethought is learning the skills that bottle is not just water. Forethought is making up a tiny little kit that can get you fire in an emergency. The afterthought is not putting this stuff on this case. Oh, case, knife, case, yeah. Anyway, not putting this knife on the case or putting this stuff on the case and just carrying it on my belt. It's just a knife then. Does me no other good except for cutting. That's forethought. Afterthought is, like I said, just going out there with a plain Jane knife, your gun, and not worrying about it. There's been a lot of hunters lost. A lot of hunters spent very uncomfortable nights in the woods because there was no forethought put into hunting. As far back as I can remember, my dad, and I've mentioned this many a times, carried a book of matches, some fish hooks, and a fishing line wrapped around the matchbook. That was his survival kit. The fish hooks can be used to connect stuff together. Fishing line can be used to tie stuff together, make traps. But he had matches, which gave him fire. And like he said, a shelter is nothing that, you can crawl under. That's a shelter. So, forethought or afterthought, just something for you to think about. Hey, this is Tom, and thank you for your time and your patience. If you liked the video, well, you don't have to hit the like button anymore, but leave a comment. I enjoy the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and share. We'll see you guys on the next one.